Hey guys, welcome back to another session of Rate and Rant. We've brought in my South African friend again, Paul, as we like to do. And this episode, we're going to talk about masterminds. How you doing, Paul?
Good on yourself, Danny.
Yeah, good. So, right, let's start at the very beginning. So, a couple of things we need to do. Going to get our biases out of the way is one thing. And the first thing I want to talk about is the word mastermind. I know there's no other word for it, but it's such a horrible, pretentious term. A little piece of me dies inside every time I hear the word being uttered, but there's no replacement for it.
Yeah, true.
The second thing is I'm in a group that I set up in the UK. It's not a charge for a mastermind. It's about a group that helps each other, keeping the purity of what a mastermind is. So there's a bias there. Public speaking work that I do, there are upgraded tickets for masterminds. So get that bias out of the way as well. For my bias, it's worthwhile for people when they do sign up for it, is that people attend an event and they want that extra, but they don't want to pay a fortune or they don't want to spend days on it. They want to be able to be part of their ticket. It's affordable to anyone then. And then they can get the similar kind of information. Because let's face it, you can stretch a mastermind over a day, 2 days, 3 weeks, whatever. Or you can do what we do, like these speed dating tables. And I learned this from an event that I spoke at in Germany. And I thought it was a really good idea, is to allow people to have all the other speakers there and Amazon sellers, etc. And you're able to go and jump on those tables and go round those tables. Now, when I looked at that format, I thought, this is really good if it's out of reach for you. Let's just say, like, a lot of people want to be in a mastermind because they want to get to the next level. But where is that little gap in between? Obviously, there's people are flogging masterminds out there, which is fine. They can give value. And some of them, which we'll discuss, are like Ponzi schemes. So
correct.
Talk to me about your take on masterminds. You're in, here comes the bias, you're in the group with me, but you've been on, unlike me, I've never paid to go on a mastermind or anything. You've done this though, haven't you? You've paid for masterminds and stuff like that. Okay.
So I'm quite biased because the reason being is that 100% the reason for my success is because of masterminds. And in my opinion, the masterminds that are the best are the ones that you start up with people that you know and trust and can share stuff with. Those are the best ones. Yeah. Now, the masterminds which you get when you go visit events and stuff, those are really, really cool. But what people forget, though, is that the strategies and tips you'll learn in those masterminds are great, but it's the networking, it's the friendships you make there that's really, really massive. And it's more important to keep those going and to actually use the strategies you learned, because we all go to like a conference, a mastermind, whichever, and like 3-4 days, like it's just an info, it's just overwhelming. There's so much information. And then that really sucks. But what you do remember are the drinks you had with the friends. Yeah. And then when you do forget, you come back, talk to them, and that's just huge. Yeah. When I first started selling on Amazon, I was back in, this is ASM 1. That was like the first main Amazon training course. And by about a year later, when ASM 2 came out, I kind of realized I need to up my game. So I started my own mastermind. I made a Facebook post. I said I went for 6 people who's serious, and I vetted them. I had 6 people sign up. And to this date, there are 7 of us, including myself, in that group. One of which is now doing $1 million a month. The other 3 are doing about 6 figures a month, and other 2 dropped out, and I'm also doing pretty well. So all of that was because at Mastermind was in the beginning, I was really anal because I'm a teacher. So I used to bring it up. I used to make sure every 2 weeks we chat over Skype, and I'll pick on everyone and say, get active in the Mastermind. And it was only 7 of us, so it was easy to maintain. But because it did that, it helped me hit such a better learning curve. And those people to this day are still my friends.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, from my point of view as well, is that I started my group, obviously, which you're in, I think it was February or March last year. And I wanted something, because I've been in like WeChat mastermind groups and stuff like that, but they flame out really quickly. So my thing was, you've got to be able to meet face to face, because that will then keep the vibe going, you know? So what we do is I would secure a venue in London with food or whatever it may be, which we've done a few times. I know that sometimes we do hangouts and that, but it's important that we meet face to face. So when I started, I wanted to start a group that because we're in the UK, because I think obviously the biggest trend of mastermind come from the US. I mean, we've got 2 guys in our group that go over to the US and still pay 25 grand a year to attend those 2 masterminds. I think they go every 3 months.
Yeah.
And you've been there by their own admission. Yeah. It's not like what we do and what they do is much different, apart from the 25 grand price tag. Yeah. So I'm not disputing people earning money out of masterminds. It's, you know, they're not running a charity. We just chose in the UK on our one not to charge because I wanted to keep the purity of what it's about. And what it's about is helping other people, helping yourself. And if you had lots of people doing Ponzi schemes, and you know, I've said to guys in our group, it's like we're not going to be doing affiliate links and plug-in software and stuff in that. It just, if people want to use your software, you can speak to the others in the group. If you want to set up like a side group and run that as a beta, do that. But let's keep the purity of the group. And I think that's what's kept it going for so long. And the point of this conversation is so that people know you can go and set up your own mastermind. And so that is basically my format. We started with about 4 people. In the very beginning, when I set it up, I had people reject me. But now we've got a group of 16 people. Some are doing $500,000 a month or whatever. And it's a fantastic group. So, you know, in hindsight, they may have gone, actually, probably not the greatest move in the world, but I hadn't proved anything. It's like I had the
exactly.
go, right, I think this could work really well. Here's the format and blah, blah, blah. But that's only your own conviction. It's like selecting a product, if that makes sense.
Exactly that.
So my key thing is that I believe that there's this gap. You've got a gap where people want to be in mastermind, but they may have not reached where they need to reach. The goal, the purity of the mastermind is to get knowledge to grow your business, but they may not be in the financial position. And when I've had people approach about joining our group, which we can't just let anyone in, you know, I had what's called 1, the no arsehole rule, and 2, the bar is set very high, is what can these people learn by you joining the group? So I'll break those down into 2 parts. We set the bar now at about 300 grand. We just had Michelle join at 500 grand a month because the other guys need to be able to learn from that. And I need to slow the growth of the group down because I don't want it too big because it doesn't become a mastermind. It
loses the value.
It loses the value. And the no arsehole rule part of the group is that I have to interview everyone who comes in because they normally come through referrals. And I only want really good, smart, nice people that I know will gel with other members, because there are people that you could be doing $1 million a month and can be a complete arsehole, but I don't want them in the group because it destroys the morale for everyone, if that makes sense.
Oh, completely.
So with your mastermind, yeah, go on. We were going to say.
No, absolutely. Is that I think what you only realize about your mastermind is that because you run it, that's why it's successful. I mean, I've been in probably, I would say, close to 10 masterminds over the past. The masterminds, actual groups, we meet up, everything. I'd say close to 10 masterminds over the past couple of years. And the average mastermind peters off after a year and a half. And it's mainly because is that there has to be one person actually running it, nagging, complaining, saying, guys, we're meeting up here. Please RSVP, make a plan. I know it sucks for that person, but that keeps the group alive. That keeps the mastermind alive. Yeah. And if someone does that, normally they actually become the most experienced, knowledgeable person in that group. Yeah. So it's really important for someone to take the reins and actually steer and navigate that group. And some people complain. Those ones that complain are not the ones you want in the group in the first place. Yeah,
no, totally. No, we've had a situation where I felt almost obliged to let someone in by the proxy of knowing them, because of obviously in the UK we've been involved with other like the meetup, the larger groups and stuff. And it's not that I want to be horrible and say no, you can't join the group. I have to think of the whole point of this group. If you're not going to make any money out of the group, you need to get something from the group, and so do the others. And if I let in lots of people that don't have experience, that only come in to learn but have nothing to give, then the more experienced people will go, well, why am I in this group? It's just turned into a madhouse now. There's all these people rocking up. So it makes it very difficult for that to take place. So let's get to the purity of it again. Is like, when you set up your groups, did you make money off them, or were they free?
So no, the thing is we have to be careful of is that if you're going to set up your own group, you must be as equal as everyone there in terms of you're not going to charge money, you're going to help out. So in my masterminds I actually spend most of my days just helping out people in that group. And
Yeah,
obviously, they return the favor and help me out. That's nice because if you start in mastermind, you pick people according to their benefits. So who's really good at social media? Who's really good at Amazon ads?
yeah,
If you have people in that mastermind doing that, and then you swap skills, you
yeah,
will excel at such a fast rate.
yeah,
Now, for paid masterminds, those are pretty cool, but the problem with those is you normally find those peter off pretty quickly because it's on the back of normally maybe an event or something like that where people learn loads of cool stuff and you meet them up. But because it's the mastermind that's paid after that, people just lose interest. So I've
yeah,
actually found the ones you start up on your own, they actually apply a lot of work into it. Those are much more beneficial.
yeah,
And I mean, what I'm doing now, I mean, right now, at the time of this recording, is I'm in South Africa. But I'll be here for a few months. But I'll be flying out to the UK every 2 3 months. And those 2 3 months, I'm gonna spend a day with all of my colleagues, just a
yeah,
day with them, chatting about their strategies, my strategies, everything, going over exact things, and that will be more powerful than going to a live event. So
yeah,
I mean, talking to about 10 different people, going really, really deep into strategies, and
yeah.
that's powerful.
Yeah. No, it's quite interesting. I had someone contact me the other day. Really nice guy, hit me up on Facebook, wanted me to put him in touch with someone. But from his point of view, he's like, he doesn't want to go to events or do mastermind, but he wanted me to put him in contact with a successful seller so that he could just buy him lunch and turn up and take time from him. And I
Mm,
was like, it's not my decision to make for that. You should set up your own mastermind. I
yeah.
advised him and I said, look, this is how I did it. If you don't say have the budgets to do it. And so with that in mind, I think it's unfortunate, but I think he's stopping the growth of his business. But again, if you don't have a budget, you can literally look at what people are doing on Facebook, right? You've got people that are, if you're, let's say you're in the States and you're kind of spread out. And I've seen this in Scott Volker's group. Some people go, oh, you based in Austin, let's meet up together. Great idea. That's what you should be doing. If you don't have
Mm,
the budgets, if you're in between those steps, set up your own one. Sometimes they flame out, and this is why I encourage doing a face-to-face one. If you're a high roller and you've got a load of cash and you fancy a nice little holiday, then go and lash out 20,
absolutely.
10, 20, 30 grand. But think about why you're doing it, right? And don't feel that you've got to go to 20, 30, 40 grand. So I've heard that there's masterminds at 100 a grand. I mean, that is proper high rolling. That's fantastic.
Mm,
Ultimately, what you've got to look at it from is why you go in it. Are you going there because you want to look good, or you going to do what it was meant to be for?
mm,
Go and meet
mm,
great people, get the information. And as saying, as people that are not in masterminds, don't think there's this thing. It's like the outsiders looking in. Don't ever feel it in that way,
mm,
because it's not special in the sense you just got loads of normal people. There's nothing like secret sauce, Mason,
exactly.
private handshakes and stuff. So I wouldn't worry about things like this. But
And I think also what I've seen a lot is if you look at, because I've been to like 25K masterminds and people ask me, should I join? And what people ask themselves first is that if you join a big mastermind, a paid mastermind, that's like 25K at least or around that value, if you join there, what are you offering to that mastermind?
yeah,
Because a lot of times people would join these mastermind thinking, okay, I just paid 25K, I'm now going to be successful. But no, that's not true, because the real juiceless masterminds are the relationships.
yes,
And that's when people really give you all the strategy and tactics they're using.
yeah,
And they won't share it with you unless they know you're going to share something with them.
yeah,
So you have to be able to go to these masterminds and be able to share tactics and know that they're valuable enough for a 25K mastermind. If you can do that,
yeah,
people will love you as masterminds, and then that's a great way to network.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that people do. You've got to get over the "what's in it for me."
Mm, mm.
If you've got a "what's in it for me" attitude and not thinking about it globally, then I think that's where you start to come unstuck.
And I mean, it goes back to what you were saying earlier. Is this your mastermind? Any mastermind, it must be people you like. And the one thing I learned the hard way, and because I'm a former teacher, so networking for me was never a big thing. And when I started at Amazon, everyone said, make sure you network. I never did that much, to be honest, in the first maybe year or two. And now I understand just how valuable networking is. I mean, for example, in your mastermind, I'm not trying to push it at all, but everyone knows I'm starting up my own software, my bot software.
Yeah.
And that came out of your mastermind by the networking in the mastermind, people saying, hey, Paul, I think it's a good strategy. Try this, try that. And now it's going to be a real game changer because of your mastermind, because of the relationships built in the mastermind. And the nice thing is, though, is that I can trust the people in the mastermind to not ever try underplay me or anything. And that's a trait that's really hard to find in this business.
Yeah, and that goes back to the whole no arsehole rule. And like
Exactly.
one of my things is I'm terrified of making the mistake of letting that person in, that my receptors, my bullshit receptors are not on point, and I'll let the wrong person into the group and it all goes a bit crazy. But no, I mean, the guys in the group, I mean, as I said, it's been coming up to 2 years in, next quarter or whatever. But in January, February, when is it? I think it's February or so when I started, but it got going in about April. But there are members in the group that are actually collaborating and started businesses together. Some are like been suspended and they're selling some of their product, like they're wholesaling through other accounts and things like that. And it's definitely stuff like that that makes a massive difference. It's like when I had that product where I pulled 80 units off, doing 80 units a day and pulled it off the shelf last year. As soon as I fired it out to everyone in the group, that was it. It's like I had a shopping list of a device that come back that was very strong. And when you're in that position and you're a little bit skittish because you're like, hold on, I've got to pull this off the shelf. It's Christmas. It's one of your biggest products. You're doing 80 units a day. You're weighing up all of your options. You're trying to work out what your strategy and next steps are in order to come out of this clear and that there's no, like long-term issues or whatever. And that level of advice that came back was phenomenal. And that there, of putting it together, arranging venues and stuff, that there pays for itself 10 times
Exactly.
over. So,
I mean, also, sorry, go ahead.
No, go on. I've done lots.
I was saying is that in the past, we did a rant and rave about all the mistakes we made. Yeah. And having a mastermind is a great place just to moan about all the mistakes you made. Yeah. I've learned from you, you've learned from me about all the mistakes we've made. And as a group, we probably won't make it again now because we've learned from each other. And that alone would saved me a fortune this year. Yeah. And I know these things in advance.
So obviously, I'm not in the business of naming names and all that kind of stuff. But what would you do for people to pick, if they're going to pay for a mastermind? What are the metrics do they need to pick the right ones? Because obviously, if I was paying for a mastermind, a lot of money, and then I got there and I had nothing but pitching, like some sort of Ponzi scheme, like upselling while you're there, and not the mastermind aspect that you went for, I'd be really pissed off. But then you hear the horror stories, don't you? And on the flip side, you're seeing or hearing, like someone was saying the other day, is that I think they paid $100,000 for a mastermind and they didn't get what they got. And then someone went to another mastermind and it was just a sales fest. It's like, what? What's going on here? Yeah. And they pulled off into their own little groups and gone, do you know what? We're here now. We're paid for everything. Let's get our little groups together and go off and do our own thing away from sales tactics,
Yeah, so I mean, completely that is if you're going to go for a paid mastermind, whether it's a monthly thing or a trip, whichever, first of all, just check how many sales pitches are there. And the first thing is that when someone refers to do a tool, is there an affiliate link in that? Because already that's a sign that they're an affiliate and they're trying to make money over here. And sometimes a lot of these pitches actually can help your business, but why are they pitching at already a paid course? That's one thing I don't like about it. Also is that what annoys me is when you go to this high-end masterminds, all the really, really big sellers, they go off and do their own little mastermind on the side. Yeah. And that kind of annoys me because we all paid the same price to be there, but because you guys are part of your own club, you could do your own thing, and that's the real juice. And essentially what they do is that they run the mastermind to pay for their travel to go there, and then they do their own thing, which kind of annoyed me. And so when people are looking at that, basically look at this is that also the mastermind, is it near you? I mean, the thing is, I know for us, there are a lot of masterminds in the US. So that means we have to travel to the US all the time. And that kind of kills the face-to-face meetings.
Yeah.
But if there's a mastermind here in the UK, it's easy for us. And that's why yours works well, because we can meet up. That's huge.
Yeah.
If you can't meet up, then you will lose interest.
Yeah, I mean, coming around to a point, I mean, obviously it's easy for us to talk about from the outside looking in. But I think some people, like, they'll go to Bali or wherever and do these mastermind, but it's only for 10. And it's really, really high end. And I think the reason they set the bar at that height is because it is for super serious sellers. So they might say that some of these sellers are doing 10 million a year. And so they only want 10 million a year sellers. So there might be like levels to this, you know, which then leads into the super high pricing, like to actually make sure that the people that are coming, they're not just coming in to show their face because, oh, right, I want to be seen and heard. They're actually the right type of people that come along, you know?
I think one of the best masterminds, I know I didn't do it, I just heard of it, is that one guy I knew, he ran a mastermind where that he would invite 20 people, he vetted them all, 20 people, that all live in a house for 2 weeks. Yeah. Where every day all they do is structured masterminding about strategies, tactics, and they give you time to work on your business while you're there. Because a lot of these masterminds, when you're there, you're on the island, whichever, you can't really work on your business. And by the time you get home, you've pretty much forgotten a majority of what was taught. But this mastermind was nice because you go to a house, you live in the house for 2 weeks. Like during the day, you mastermind. At night, you drink and relax. And that was a really good basis because you get to know everyone. You mastermind. You're forced to talk every day for 2 weeks. And everyone that I know went to things like that, they absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Cool. I think we've probably covered just about everything, haven't we? In terms of, have you got any other advice?
I think that's about it for me.
Yeah. So just for me, just as a recap, is pick your mastermind wisely. Go for the right reason. Don't go to be seen, to be cool. Determine, do your background research. Are you going to be there and it's going to be a pitch fest, or is it actually going to be what you were hoping it to be? Like you said, look for the affiliate links and the kind of snake oil long sales pages. And, you know, when someone screams the value, it means you're not, what's the word for it? You know, when you say that we're giving value, no, we're selling the value when we're screaming it that loud. So just keep an eye on stuff like that and do background checks on the people that are excellent.
And also, when if you're starting a mastermind, one thing that's a good dictator, whether you want someone in the group, is that will they tell you what their product is? Yeah. I mean, in my masterminds, I think even yours, a lot of people know what I sell, and I know what they sell. I don't care, and I can trust that. Yeah. And when people come in there and say to you, "Ooh, I don't want to tell you what I sell," it really puts up that hesitation. Why would I share my stuff with you when you're so secretive? I'm not a bad guy. You're not a bad guy, but it's a bad precedence. I know one guy in mastermind wouldn't share this is a paid mastermind, wouldn't share what he was doing, which is fine. But I found what he was doing, and it was basically electric toothbrush holders. Yeah. Making £500 a month. And I was like, come on, guy, like, why are you so secretive about this? And we can help you out right now and sort you out because give exact things into it. But some people just don't want to share.
Yeah, exactly. But what that does, you know, I know some people in the UK will go off and do all these kind of masterminds and share nothing. So I can see that they will always have to pay to get the information because they don't share. I mean, exactly. I got a message yesterday. I'm just pulling up my phone yesterday. This is the good thing about seller sessions as well. Someone asked me a series of questions, and I responded to him. And he basically sent me two tricks I've never heard of. I won't reveal them, because I have to respect his privacy. But just by being open, I get an email back. He's basically saying, "Thank you for answering all my questions in detail." Blah blah blah. I've never seen these things, these kind of tips. Try these. You know, this is what I've been doing, and he's documented everything, and it's stuff like that. And then that's what makes the difference.
That's huge.
You need to be open. You are going to get people that will take the piss out of you. But overall, you know, when you measure off the odds, you just get rid of those people. They're not part of your life. You don't pay attention to them. And the way it works is that they don't get anything in the future. And you know that, you know, there are there are people that have done this to yourself and they've done things to me, and they kind of regret it now because they know they're never going to get in the group or anything else because of their previous actions, shall we say. Now, I'm not saying that they're bad, but it's like, well, if you're not going to be sharing, like what do you bring to the table?
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, being open, do background checks. If you don't have a budget, set up your group. Don't hate on people if they're in a group and you're not in the group. It's not a competition. There's a reason why they're there. And if you can't get in the group because you don't meet the criteria, look for another group. Or even better, the best thing you can do is set up your own group.
Exactly. And I mean, one thing which has helped me a lot is that I think people every seller should do is allocate a certain portion of every day to just help people selflessly.
Yeah.
I know that sounds ridiculous, but I mean, there's a period where I spent about 3-4 hours a day for a year and a half just helping people. And by doing that, got me into high-level masterminds, yours one of them, and other things. And that people now turn to me to help, and they know I'm a good guy. Yeah. And because I help out freely with no strings attached. Yeah. And no one really does that. If you do that, yes, it's a real time suck, but I put you ahead of the game, and people will share with me stuff they've never shared with anyone else.
Yeah, no, totally. All right, let's wrap that there. I think we've covered it we've covered all the key points here, or hopefully. I know we're biased. We have our biases, but then what do? We're trying to debate stuff, trying to look at both sides of the coin and what can be beneficial at the other end. So, again, Paul, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Daniel.
Bring you back again and again and again, as we always do, guys.
Love being here.
Thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.